Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be in the world. Welcome to today's conversation on Gift of Healing TV. I'm Sarah Jane, and I am delighted. I have a new co-host, and that is Patricia Iris Kerins. Patricia, well, welcome to today's conversation as a co-host.
Well, thank you. Thank you ever so much for asking me to do this. And I'm so excited to be here, to be able to share in this evolving conversation, because that's what we're doing this evening. And I'm looking forward to this, Sarah, because I think we all grow and learn and do it together. So that's fab. Thank you.
A real pleasure. And what we usually do is our guests get to choose the topic. Well, Patricia's not really my guest, but she got to choose the topic. So our topic is there evidence of spiritual evolution? So I'm going to hand over to you to start, and then we can take it from there.
Straight in at the deep end. Okay. Well, just to let everyone know perhaps a little bit about who I am. I've been doing this kind of work, shall we say, therapeutic work one way and another for about 30 odd years. So I've been doing it a long time, and it has evolved over the years. And I was asking the question tonight about evidence of spiritual evolution, because I've noticed it within myself, I've noticed it within Sarah, though we haven't discussed it. We've noticed how we've grown and expanded. And for me, it's always about love, growing and expanding in love. And I reckon we've been going through a revolution. And I think that these times that we've been in are all about revolution. And it's all about the people, it's all about community, and it's all about spreading out into that. So when I posed the question, is there evidence of spiritual evolution? The answer to me is self-evident. I see it all around me, and the answer would be a resounding yes, it is. People are more open. I mean, Sarah, you've noticed this because you're now, you've done some talks on dragons on our Community of Divine Love page on Facebook. And so when we first met, I don't know that you were into dragons then, but I don't think you would have put out something like that either. You would perhaps have hidden it away slightly. But what do you feel?
No, actually, the minute they started coming through, it was just like, I've got to get it out there. But then that was the dragons that guard over the earth's crystals. It was before that, it was many mythical beings. And that's where the dragons obviously came in. And I'd been to a workshop, and the lady running it, she'd actually done a meditation to meet your guardian dragon. And I'd met Phoebe. And I suppose since I started my healing journey, and then that ongoing from learning Reiki and metamorphic technique and all those other techniques that I've either learned or experienced, and then connecting very much with sound energy and then with the mythical being, because as I said just before we sort of started, we have more than one string to our bow. And I don't know why we refer to it as bow, because it has suddenly that analogy of a musical instrument with strings made a lot of sense, because that's the music of our life.
Absolutely.
When we step into those different energies of those different things. And I was on a different program, Soul Empowerment, just before this one, and one of the ladies was leaving, and I discovered through actually Patricia and Janine Savia, when you two did a program together, and you were talking about, and I think you actually shared light language. And
that's a long time ago.
It was.
You've got a great memory.
But at that stage, after that program, I thought, I can do that.
Yeah.
And if that isn't spiritual evolution, I thought when I started it, I thought, that's the language of our soul. That's our
Mm.
soul language. I know many people call it light language, the language of light. To
Mm.
me, it's our soul language.
Yes.
And our mind and our ears do not understand it, but
Hmm.
our hearts and our souls do.
They feel it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Our bodies feel it, but our
Yeah.
heart and soul
Yeah.
understand it.
Yeah. That's it is. It's beautiful, and I think both of us. I mean, we're very similar in some ways. I mean, I came through all the Reiki stuff and hypnotherapy, psychotherapy, all these learning. Like for a while, I was like a sponge. I couldn't learn enough, and coming into sound energy. But then I was a singer as well, as you know. So of course, using the voice was very much part of me. And I'm just looking at some of my notes and things. Um, because I think we've all dipped in, if you like, to different things. The thing that's really resonating for me just now are the stars and all of the astrology and what's going on all around us and the power that these planets are exerting on us. For example, this Plutonic energy is a real game changer because it's apparently the mega transformer in our universe, in our multiverses, all that. And yeah, I've kind of been learning that. I've really been focusing on that. It's really been drawing me in because I can see as you trace it along, track it along, that the predictions of things happening are actually playing out. I mean, it's playing out on this planet, the good versus the dark. We've got this war which kind of symbolizes that. And to me, a lot of what has gone on is about the return of Mother God. We've all been brought up with the program of there being a Father God, that very patriarchal society, and Mother God is really burgeoning forward, coming in. In my language, I would just call it the divine feminine and all her attributes. And I think people are really getting that now. They're seeing, they're knowing that whatever they can think on, whatever they can imagine, comes into being. And that's the divine feminine, the power of visualization. It's very powerful. Link that with the power of your intention. And really, there isn't anything we cannot do or be because we're then applying our magic, which we all have as the divine feminine. And it's not just about women, it's about men as well. We all have both energies. And I've been going on about that. People are listening to me ad nauseam about that for years. And finally, I feel that it's really coming into being. And and I'm celebrating that because I'm excited about it. Because I think the more and more women are opening to all possibilities, all potential, and us. I mean, how intelligent are we? How intelligent do you believe you are when you actually step into that? We're awesome. We are awesome. And there isn't anything we can't be a doing and a being. That's the way I look and talk about healing. I've been ramping it up in my group and all the rest of it, really bringing more and more healing in, bringing the angels in, bringing the Christed Masters in, because that's who I work with, Sarah, as you know, maybe rather than your beautiful dragons and everything, although I totally respect that, get it. But I haven't really deviated from that since I was a child. It's always been those personnel that have come in for me. Um, so I just find this all really mega exciting because of the potential, the possibilities. And this year, because I've been listening to all these masters, astrologers, and all the rest of it. This is it. We've arrived at the point of no return, and this big shift is happening in March, apparently. And we're really going to be shunted forward. And I can't wait. I mean, I'm so excited about that because I feel as if I've been waiting forever. It's like Because, I mean, when you've been doing this as long as I have, you keep saying, this is it, we're there, we're nearly there, who's all nearly there? Do you know? And it's like, now this time we are nearly there. We've just got to be. So how does that grab you? Do you feel you're nearly there?
I think actually we're. That's what I'm some feedback. Anyway, apology. I'm going to turn my speaker off just for a second.
Okay.
I'm going to go back on sort of some of the things that you actually said. And Neil Donald Walsh, Conversations with God.
Yes.
And he refers at times to he and as she when he's referring to God. It is about the yin and the yang. It is about getting back the balance.
Yes.
And sort of literally the program at the end of December was with David and Scott. And it was about, you know, the supporting of the masculine energies and the supporting of them. And they can step into tuning into their feminine energies, you know, and that women have got to get out of being so far into their masculine energies. It is about the balance of the yin and the yang.
Oh, yes,
and
absolutely.
I really do feel that we should all just be true to ourselves. And you sort of talk about the power, etc. But I suppose the way I've always looked at it is we're all special. We are all special in our own unique way.
Yes.
And that special is different for everybody, but it doesn't make anybody more or less special than anybody else. It really is about us being true to who we are, allowing ourselves to be ourselves. And then we can open up to the angels, to the Christed ones.
Yes.
I was raised a Catholic, so very much a believer in Jesus, Mother Mary, the Holy Spirit, and our Creator. It's just that I tend to refer to Creator rather than God.
Yes, yeah. And I mean, I like to use all different names, if you like, for the energy or source energy, because there are so many different names, and I don't want to alienate people because some people don't like that God thing. But you know, yeah, Neil Donald Walsh, absolutely love him, and I mean, I'm married to a Taurian, a great earthy man, and yet he really brings forward a beautiful balance in his feminine and masculine. But you know, going back into 60s, 70s, 80s, I can remember really being in my masculine energy. I think women were really, especially, I think I was out in business 70s, 80s, and I can remember the shoulder pads and all that because I worked for a bank at quite a senior level, really, and out there doing your thing. And having quite a lot of women, I thought had to be more like men than men. And of course, I think there were 7 of us at a certain level in the bank, representing the bank out of 440. That was the 7 women, the rest were all men. So you really had to be present in that masculine energy in order to be seen to be competing, if you like. And there was the thing, competition. But you know, you're right about the authenticity. I'm aware when I'm writing books, I've been writing a lot recently and dipping into knowing when I'm channeling, saying, okay, what do you want me to say? And it just comes out in splurges. And then, of course, I cross over. I feel as if it's a crossover into my left brain and bring forward the organizer, the more masculine energy that's going to say, right, we need this, this, and this. And you know, I find I can write very quickly that way, Sarah, because one supports the other. And I think that's a good analogy, if you like, for life. I feel my masculine energy is such a great support to my natural feminine flow, if you like, and bringing out that which they need me to bring out. which is good fun. So I think we're of a mind, of a heart here, that we definitely are evolving spiritually in lots of exciting ways. And yeah, what are you thinking?
It's about openness.
Yes.
And sort of, and I suppose, yes, actually, it's almost harking back to this conversation earlier on the soul empowerment. It's just like, because, sort of, did I ever really hide connection with the mythical beings, connection with the dragons? I got to the point in my life, having been so scared of what other people thought of me. And if I'd have known then about the mythical beings, the dragons, etc., and my connection with them, I could never, ever have told anybody. My work with the sound, with the voice, with the toning, I could not. My insecurities were horrendous. They really were. I was so scared of saying anything that would alienate me from people. Now, it's not about alienation, is it? It's just a matter, but it's the terminology, the words that you use. That word alienation, it's not about alienation. It's about that's not right for them. What's right for one is not right for another.
No, and it's about accepting that.
Yeah.
Accepting ourselves, accepting everybody. You do your thing, I do mine, and honouring and appreciating that for what it is. Absolutely.
And it's not about rejection. It's just about that's not for me.
Yeah.
But when you've had the things happen that create that energy within you, it's how do you come out of that? And you were talking about the astrological, and obviously one of the star signs is Sagittarius. It's the Centaur, but then there's Chiron, and Chiron is the wounded healer.
Yes,
and those, and I am going to include myself in this. Those of us that are here to support you, we've come through our own healing journey.
Oh, yes.
But that doesn't mean that we are totally healed. Because for me, the way I think about it, if I was totally healed, I would lose that connection to the empathy. I could lose my connection to the earth and to everything that is meant to be for me to be here at this point in time to support those I'm here to support.
Yes.
And I can do that as the wounded healer.
Yes, I love that. I haven't heard that before. It's a lovely thing to say. It's very authentic. It's really embracing everything, Sarah, And when I think back on how I've been, a lot of people would say to me, "You're so confident, Patricia, you're very confident." What I was doing was internalizing the nerves. So what I've ended up with, without going into too much detail, but a digestive system and illumination system that could certainly be a lot better. It's caused me a lot of problems, still does to some degree, but it was filled and full of nervous energy. And when I was performing, I was the same. I could do it. I didn't show nerves, but it was internalized. And also the insecurities, wondering what people would say about you if you talk too much about Jesus or anything like that, which, I would love to do. So yeah, it's we've had to, the way I'm going to put it is bend ourselves out of shape quite considerably. And that a level of people pleasing goes on, to be accepted and maybe was our way, I'll put it in the past tense, of being loved. And yet, no, I know I'm not healed yet. I think most people know that. I don't. I've developed a very good sense of humour, though. I have to say, I love to laugh about it all because, well, if you don't laugh, what else will you do?
Yeah.
yeah, so we're being human and we're being open. And what I observe now in society is more and more openness, more and more people reaching out and thinking, well, hang on, if I keep doing the same thing, I'm just keep going to get the same results. So let's open up here and look and see. And people are reaching out for a different life experience. And the young ones, I just absolutely love them because wow, they're speaking out, showing up, and there is, I mean, I'm using this word revolution. There's been a revolution on a number of levels, but even that, the Afghani woman that was killed, and then the uprising there, the women, and there is, you see, although we've come through loads of work to get rid of the suppression and oppression of the feminine, there's still work to do. So, that tells me that anybody's thinking that they've got it sorted, there's still such a lot of work to do because the men in those regions, that kind of thing, still, they need to be affected. We're all connected, we're all in this oneness. And all we beautiful enlightened people who know about that balance of masculine and feminine, we have to constantly keep empowering that, I think, so that that's what we're sending up to the collective consciousness, and hopefully it'll land down with them. That would be my prayer for that, because there needs to be a change there. That's work in progress.
It's about taking responsibility for yourself, for your own life, for your health, for your well-being. It is about responsibility for all. Nobody else is responsible for my addiction to chocolate. That's up to me to deal with.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, but okay, but it, that's a humorous aspect, if you like. But there's no two ways about the fact I am ridiculously addicted to chocolate, and the only way I don't eat it is if it's not in the house. And it's not good for me.
No.
It's really not good for me. It's that amount of chocolate. Buy a big bag of chocolate thinking, oh, I'll make that last. Yeah, it's gone within 15 minutes.
Oh, really?
It is accepting the fact. Now, whether it's an addiction to chocolate, and I've taken this very light-hearted, and I've taken to something that I have an issue with, and I accept that. I adore certain chocolate, not all chocolate.
No.
But, and I cannot do it in moderation. I cannot. But some people can't smoke in moderation. They can't drink in moderation. They can't eat in moderation. They can't, whatever it is. It's about, what is it? Some people can't exercise in moderation. It's over the top. Whatever is an excess, it is up to us, though. It is not up to a health service. It's not up to a fitness trainer. It's not up to a doctor, a nurse. It's not up to a therapist, a complementary therapist like myself. It's not up to us to sort you out. I use the word healer, but it's actually not necessarily a word I like, because the only person I can heal is me.
Yes.
I cannot heal anybody else. However, the gifts that I bring, because I do consider them gifts, can help empower. It is about empowerment.
Yes.
Sort of conversation quite some time ago, and actually it was recorded. It was with my sister, Jackie, and we were talking about charity. And the actual meaning of the word charity is not how most people perceive charity today. And it was set up to help people to help themselves. It was never set up that we're just going to give you a handout. It's that saying, isn't it? Give a man a fish he eats for a day, give him a fishing rod. And he can actually not only eat all the time for himself, but he can help feed his community.
Yes, absolutely. But the wonderful thing is, just to pick up on that is if and when we do it for ourselves,
Yeah.
because we are all one,
Yeah.
we are affecting the whole, and we empower them, you know, without even thinking about it, without even trying to heal. So that's really what I was kind of
Yeah.
referring to there. And to pick up on your point about being addicted to chocolate, I was a smoker until I think I was about 45, so it's a long time ago. And I just stopped cold turkey. But I was like you, I really was quite a heavy smoker. And I just decided, boom, that's enough of that. And fortunately, that worked. It doesn't work for everybody.
No.
But I do know what you mean by that. I don't know what that is. And I mean, I've looked at it in all different kinds of ways over the years. But, you know, they say it is just pure addiction to, you know, that feeling that it's giving you. But it was almost like a friend, Sarah, you know, I don't know if that comfort or something, you know. But yeah, gosh, yes, when I look back on all the things that I have been, I drank too much probably. I wasn't addicted, I wasn't an alcoholic, but I did drink too much. And as much as I think I was quite allergic to it or something, it affected me and I would get a dreadful headache the next day. So I had to do exactly the same there. Cold turkey, no more. Just don't drink. Bill
Yeah.
had very little, and I don't drink at all. So, yeah, what a lot of what you're saying is know thyself and take action, isn't it? You know, to do something about it.
And it's also realizing that it is okay. In fact, it is essential to love yourself.
Oh gosh, yes.
And we're not taught that, are we?
No, no
In
way.
fact,
No,
as a woman, you're not even meant to think about yourself,
no.
especially if you're a mother, because you don't, where would you put yourself on the list? To be perfectly honest, many women wouldn't put themselves anywhere on the list of priority.
Yeah, no, it's true. That is very true. But you know, I have to say that I have to acknowledge loads of people who have become therapists, who have, you know, done all the Louise Hay work and your work, my work. Lots of people who've been showing the way when it comes to loving themselves. Gosh, there's a whole lot of them there. I mean, I just watched the Community of Divine Love on Facebook there. And even since I started that 2 years ago, I'm seeing people really climbing up and up and up in their vibration. You know, they're writing poems now, they're doing this, doing that, running lots and lots of workshops, got loads of, you know, really doing well because I can see the transition in that time of them coming from point A to point not Z because they're not there yet, but gosh, you know what a difference, and it's heartening to see that. It really is lovely.
Oh, yeah. And I know we've got folks watching live. So if you've got a question or a comment, some feedback, please feel free to put that into the live chat. You know, we're very happy for that. But if you're just happy listening, that's great. It really is. I think for me, it was that awareness of I am special. When a client said that to me one day, said, "Oh, you are special." I said, "I know." but they knew me well enough to know that there was absolutely no conceit in that.
No, I know that. Yeah.
And, and I suppose it was a way of almost making light of it, because we're all very good at struggling to take compliments, especially if we are insecure in ourselves, which I spent so many years being. But it's about when, and so, and like it depends on sort of some people's reaction. You know, you love yourself, you're selfish. Can we get the meaning of that word selfish right, please? What selfish really is? Because the people that think about themselves, consider themselves, love themselves, learn to say no when no is right. They're saying yes to themselves and no to others because something doesn't resonate with them.
Yeah.
They are not being selfish because it was that understanding that for the people who are people pleasers, who are always doing things for other people, what they are doing is holding two people back.
Yes.
They're holding themselves back and they're holding the other person back.
Yeah, agreed.
Because neither one of them can grow whilst they are not helping themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really important. Your no can be the greatest gift you give to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all of us learning to be totally honest. If your answer is no, then be honest about it. And when people say, oh, but you have to give a reason. No, you don't. If your answer's no, your answer's no. It doesn't matter what your reason, your excuse is.
Yeah.
It is the answer's no.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or if somebody asks you to do something and you think, I don't know, be honest. Can you give me half a day, 24 hours? I will come back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make an instant decision, as many people pleasers will do. They will turn around and say yes immediately and regret it immediately.
Exactly. Yeah.
But when you take care of you, you can't pour from an empty pot. Taking care of yourself keeps that pot full.
Mm-hmm.
When you love yourself, care about yourself, have patience, trust, understanding, all those belief in yourself, that is when you can bring so much more to others. Because you cannot bring, and love definitely in there, you cannot bring those things to others if you do not have it within yourself for yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. I so agree with all of that, Sarah. We're on the same page. I can remember driving up the road. This is up the M6. I don't know how many years ago. Your memory is better than mine, but probably early 90s, probably about 90, 91. And driving an old Granada up the M6 right up to Edinburgh. And it was as if there were wings on the car. I mean, the tyres hardly touched the ground. And I got at that time to my then not stepmother, but my mother in law, yes, in Edinburgh, and arrived there. And of course, I was just coming fresh from my very first Louise Hay teacher training thingy. And I went in and I was as high as a kite. I think she wondered who and what had landed. But the sort of basic message I just kept saying was, I've realised I'm lovable. I'm okay, actually. And I'm saying this to my mother-in-law. Nobody else. I'm telling you, she really thought it was nuts. But it was true because I didn't think I was lovable at all. I don't know, it was like a whole thing had been pulled away from me, unveiled.
Yeah.
I was remotely lovable. And I've spent a lot of time, obviously, I'm a therapist, as you know, and I work with people, but I'll tell you what I've learned is not to try to fix people in my family. Oh my gosh, yes. No, I don't go anywhere unless someone uh, is prepared, shall we say, to engage me as a therapist and with an agreement in some way. Uh, and I have to say financially, because I think there should be an exchange of energy or service or something, because we do have sort of anomalies to that. But yeah, I stopped that because that's so disempowering, as you just said. It takes away from that person being able to enjoy and learn from their journey,
Yeah.
So I totally get what you're saying there. Everybody needs to really step into being more authentic, speak your truth. When you say yes, you mean yes. When you say no, you mean no. And I think that would help our young ones a lot as well, to really learn that one. There really is such a lot to teach the younger ones, I think,
Oh,
that
yeah.
they're not getting in school. I mean, a lot of what we've learned over the years, I mean, we're now grandmother energy, aren't we?
Oh,
And
yes.
you know, yeah. And it's like there should be a section in every school on grandmother energy. Here's what we can share with you. We've been there, we've done it, we've seen it, we've experienced it. We can share. And I think they would glean a lot from that. I'm not trying to talk us into yet another job, Sarah, I have to say. But yeah,
Judith says, we can only lift others if we are in a good place ourselves.
absolutely.
Absolutely. It's when we give ourselves permission, people witnessing us giving ourselves permission
Yes.
gives them permission to do the same. That's what it is about.
Yes.
It's not us doing it for, but I am going to ask you to rephrase, Judith. We do need to nurture ourselves. May I please, it's one of my little bugbears. Can you please leave out the words want and need from your language, please? Because I want leaves you with the wanting and I need leaves you with the needing. It is about choosing.
Choosing.
It is about choosing to nurture ourselves. You know, it is, yeah, it just, and it was, and maybe it was Neil Donald Walsh, and it was to do with the wanting and the needing, and it was having read books 1, 2, and 3 of Conversations with God. But it was, when you think about it, I is the power.
Mm-hmm.
I is the power.
Yeah.
And so you put the word want straight after the word I, and you are going to be left with the wanting.
Yes.
If you put that word need after I, you are going to be left with the needing. The universe takes the energy of that word straight after I. So I am, I choose.
Yes.
You know, it's thinking about our terminology. And it's difficult because we've been brought up with the words want and need. And in fact, I think if somebody turns around to me and says, what do you want? My answer is nothing.
Mm.
Because I want, what were we taught as a child? If you turn around and said, I want, your parents would turn around to you and say, I want, don't get.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And then they'd say, if you don't ask, you don't get. That confused me for so many years. Because it was just, but I'm telling you what I want. No. If you don't ask, but I want isn't asking.
Mm.
I want really isn't asking. It's demanding.
Mm. Absolutely. Agreed.
So
There you are, Judith. You're upsetting Sarah here.
No. And
I'm only joking.
brilliant, Judith, because maybe that was absolutely meant to come out as part of this. Because is there spiritual evolution? Yes, because we're starting to understand that our terminology can really affect the life we're living.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, the power of words. I mean, I'm careful with my words, and I'm careful if I'm writing memes and things like that, just making sure that we're using powerful words, present tense and personal, and that adds power. And when you repeat those affirmations, then it strengthens your whole core. It lands on you at a cellular level. I mean, I find it very easy to raise my own vibration by speaking to myself, and doing it out loud is a good way forward. Speaking out in this in the room on my own here, but loads of trees out front, going amongst the trees, and really just talk to the earth, to the universe, and share your thoughts, your feelings, your love of this planet, and feel the warmth of the energy coming back to universe is listening to every word. And Bill and I are so aware of that here, because I'll be saying, where are my glasses now? I did try it today. I've lost my reading glasses, and these are his reading glasses. And they haven't found them yet for me, but usually they're, I would just come across them, or I'd be guided to a certain place. So I talk a lot to the universe and ask for help, and know that it's listening to every word. What is Judith saying now? Please, may I have?
Yeah, please may I have might get. Absolutely. That's asking. That's not demanding.
Yes.
So perfect, Judith. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it is about, and I love that. Yes, I'm angels of parking, angels of safe journeys,
Yes.
angels of all sorts. Yeah, absolutely. I put my roots down into Mother Earth twice a day, actually.
Yes. Yeah. But we have to, I mean, part of what's going on is we're being subjected to mega rays of light being sent in at a very much higher calibration than we're used to. And some days you might waken up and you're thinking, oh gosh, this feels a bit funny today. I feel a bit off. And it's happening quite a lot here in this house, I can say. And so the best thing to do is get outside, get your roots down, align, and just bring yourself into the core alignment. Excuse me. And clear your chakras. Now this is where I feel that Archangel Michael, Most High, I always qualify that, is a must in my existence. I don't know what I would do without him, because every day, every morning, I call him in when we're just after we meditate to cleanse and clear me, and I do it at night again, and do it often as you can think on it. Also, if you feel you're getting a sore throat, if you're going to go into a wee strep thing or anything like that, you know what? Ask them to remove it. Ask Michael to remove bacteria, viruses, you name it, and they will work with you, and they will alter your DNA. You see, there isn't anything we can't do. We're stepping into Bruce Lipton's territory. He comes to it from a scientific point of view, but he's talking about epigenetics and changing your DNA. Great. I've been doing that for a long time with my clients, working on the level that I work on. It comes in intuitively, channeled information. Michael guides that for me. And yet I know when Bruce is talking, I'm sitting there nodding, yes. He's proving it scientifically. It's just amazing. So, we're growing. And I think the validation that somebody, from a scientific perspective, coming to all this healing that we're doing and how deep we can go with people is just amazing. I just love it. So, there's lots of changes coming up with science, with medicine, and yet I can feel there is a big job on there with the medics, because there are quite a few sort of intransigent attitudes there. But everything changes. What's the constant in life? Change. Constant, moment to moment. And people are receiving all this energy. I mean, we're the ones that know what's going on, remember. People are feeling this energy. We're the ones that are aware, that are alive to that. A lot of people out there are feeling a bit odd or off center or strange, and they haven't a clue what's going on, or they don't know that this amazing energy that's coming in is helping to open their heart, for example, or they might get some strange feelings in their heart. And it's we're here as way shores, people who are attracted to this kind of conversation. I feel are way shores, they're intuitives, here to a word here, a word there, or point people in the right direction, or indeed just if you have experience, as Sarah says, of healing yourself. But going off on one there. Sorry about that.
That's sorry, no, but Judith said gratitude. Absolutely. Gratitude is one of the things that is the most powerful thing. You are grateful for what you have.
Yes.
And you will open yourselves up to more. If you're constantly in lack, guess what? You're going to stay in lack.
Yes.
It is about your attitude. It is also about your intention to life.
Mm.
What are your intentions for yourself, for others? What energies are you putting out there? And that energy can come from your thoughts. Your thoughts can be your greatest hurter, not healer. They can be the one that causes, they can be what causes you the most pain. Because if you let your thoughts run wild, sometimes they can get so negative. You have to find your own way, but you have to find your own way with everything. What we share here on all the programs, on the actual Gift of Healing TV website, everything we share is sharing information for people to think, yes, this resonates, but this doesn't. It doesn't matter. It's finding what works for you, because each and every one of us are different. Yeah, walking on the grass barefoot is what Judith said.
Yes.
But then there's forest bathing. You don't necessarily have to go in barefoot. I'm not sure I would go into a forest barefoot personally, not looking at our local woods, and especially the way they are at the moment. They're so wet and muddy because we've had so much rain here. It's just that being out in nature. We've literally got a small woodland just over the road. So when I have my niece's dog, but even without the dog, I will go for a walk in the woods. It's just great to be in the clean, fresh air of a woodland. And it's just thinking about the gifts of nature. It's all there for us if we choose to tap into it. But and it is, isn't it? It's very important. What resonates with you? What are you ready for? Because you sort of talked about, sort of the different people that you work with. And I know with the energies that I bring, if people are not ready for the energies that I bring, I can't help them. I can't help them to help themselves. And I've had people be open and honest about that. And they have said, Sarah, I'm not ready. And that's fine. And it's really important that people who come to people like yourself, myself, and so many others, you're not looking for us to solve it for you. I think it was like realizing that the only person who'd ever rejected me was me when I changed my name. From Jane, as I was called as a baby, to Sarah, because I was christened Sarah Jane. No hyphen, but I was Jane as a baby, and I was the one who changed it. And that was a rejection of myself. When I came aware of that, that was also when I became aware of the importance of our name. And so you sort of talked about you sort of talking to yourself. A suggestion I would make to everyone is, I'm not asking you to tone your name, but I would suggest you just speak your name. Just say it. You're just acknowledging yourself, because it is about acknowledgement of self. Then you can start to truly acknowledge others. You are a gift. Your journey, your story is a gift to others. And that's why we share it. We share ours, so that if there's anybody there listening and thinking, I don't know whether I can get to the space they're in, but we weren't always here.
No, definitely not.
No.
Oh dear.
you know, Judith, great. Thank you for all your comments. It's brilliant. Has anybody who's listening got a question for us? Because I think we've touched on so much in this program. Is there anything more that you would like to add, Patricia?
I think not. I mean, we have covered a lot, and there are such a lot of things to say, of course. But I think really people are doing ever so well, and they deserve to give themselves a pat on the back. They've come a long way, and it's all been in a relatively short time, these steps forward. And to remember we're all taking baby steps, and then suddenly you find your way forward. So just to acknowledge yourself in that, as well as doing a good job. And it's a journey, and enjoy that journey, because your soul, I mean, one thing I might suggest is, yes, of course, to create a great relationship with your inner child, with your maiden, with your grandmother, but also and I mean your inner grandmother, to create a great relationship with your soul. I mean, if you are not speaking with your soul, and just forming the intention to do that. By the way, these are very divine feminine aspects of you, all these powerful intentions and things like that. That's what I'm actually writing about just now. But when you form that intention of really getting this dialogue going with your soul, because she knows, she's been with you since the concept of your incarnation, and I don't mean this lifetime, I mean aeons ago, whenever you first came. And so she's been there, she's been guiding and nudging and prodding, and you know, some people go through life without having made that contact. So bring that into your way of being, and set on a mission, if you like, to really excuse me, form a good relationship with her, because you will benefit greatly. She's incredibly wise. And if there are any guys out there, yeah, incredibly wise, and you will get lots of wonderful information and guidance. And yeah, I just think, as I said earlier, this is a very exciting time for us all. We are going to be on fast forward, we might say, and you need to stay grounded. You need to keep your feet on the grass and get your roots down, and at the same time connect to the heavens, to the cosmos, and bring that energy down, align them together. And that way you'll go forward. Now, it's interesting, my throat is kicking off, and that usually means, because it's not my throat, is clear. So it usually means perhaps somebody listening is feeling that there's something they need to say. So I'm just going to put that out there. Somebody need to be saying something to themselves, to somebody else in their life, then think about actually saying that to clear your throat. Okay, I'm just putting that out there. And I think that's all I want to say, Sarah, other than this has been, obviously very enjoyable, very enlightening. And Bruce Lipton, great guy to follow in a more scientific way with his epigenetics, but very interesting. And it's all about stepping in now as a universal being, a galactic being. We talk about these galactic beings. Hello, we're galactic beings. We live in a galaxy. So, Pleiadians, Arcturians, they're all around us everywhere. And don't think for a minute they're not helping, because they're helping. There are things happening on this planet right now, and you might be thinking, how did that happen? How could this happen? And they're happening. There are influences coming in. So just be aware. Awareness is everything, isn't it? But thank you for sharing. And thank you, Judith, you've been wonderful with all your comments.
just add one little thing. And this is something I tend to make suggestions from what I do, have done, and I do experience myself.
Mm.
And I tend to do this at least once a day. And that is, I congratulate myself. I actually tell, you've done really well this morning. You've run really well today. You've achieved so much, even if it's only getting out of bed. It doesn't matter how little or large you think it is that you've achieved that day. Congratulate yourself, because nobody else is going to do it for you. It's important you acknowledge yourself. And so congratulate yourself. And I do. And, so I got so much work done. I was really pleased with what I achieved this morning. So tell yourself that.
Yeah.
You increase your vibration with everything positive you tell yourself. Don't wait for it from others.
Absolutely.
Share it for yourself. And that's really important. And it does help with growth. So Patricia, thank you so very much. Next week is a Gift of Healing TV program, Guidance from Your Dreams with Pamela Cummings. And I hope you'll join us for that. And then on the 25th of January, we have our next Today's Conversation. And that is going to be not only Patricia and myself, we are going to be joined by Nancy Stevens for cultivating the soul of your sacred self, which I think fits in beautifully with what you were saying at the end there.
Yes, I agree. I'm looking forward to that, Sarah. That'll be fab. So, yes, well, thank you ever so much. And this has been our first, we've birthed the baby, or I've birthed the baby. I know you've been doing this a long time, but it's been an absolute joy. Really enjoyed it. And yes, it's a learning curve. I said to you, I was testing my ego. I had a crown fall out, and it did fall out during the conversation. I tried putting it back in, but I will be all repaired next time you see me. I mustn't worry. Just
It's not noticeable, don't worry. And thank you to Judith and Moira. Take care, folks. Be safe. Stay well. See you soon. And don't forget, Patricia, when I take us out of recording, we all get kicked out.
Well, lots of love to you, and I'm really sending you loads of love and gratitude. Thank you so much.
Take care, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.